So what I love about doing this is how excited both of us get and about different things when we're speaking to people. So today our guest, Lisa Kinsella, who's a CEO and founder of LUWI, Let Us Wear It, which is, she describes as a finer liner. You know, it was so her passion and her enthusiasm and her focus on solving an important problem was really contagious. It was
Absolutely.
conversation flew by.
I love talking to her. And as usual, a founder who found an unmet need in her own situation, invented something to correct that, that's going to really help the masses. So an amazing conversation.
And one of the things that she's onto as well is we've seen this big trend towards non-hormonal contraception. I'm always interested to continue to read that it's really being driven by influencers as opposed to healthcare professionals, but there certainly are people for whom a non-hormonal, on-demand OTC option is going to be really appealing.
Yeah, absolutely. And women controlled is a big theme here. So let's talk to Lisa.
Welcome to the Business of the V. Hello, friends and colleagues. I'm Dr. Alyssa Dweck.
And I'm Rachel Braun Scherl. Each week, we bring you the most fascinating investors, inventors, entrepreneurs, academics, and healthcare practitioners who are making things happen in women's sexual and reproductive health.
If you are a woman, know a woman, have a business, or care about your V health and wellness, fasten your seatbelts and listen in to another informative and inspiring episode.
We are so happy to have our guest today, Lisa Kinsella, who's the CEO and founder of LUWI, which you will tell us about. Welcome.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
Thrilled to have you here. We would love to share with folks about your story, how you got to LUWI, what LUWI is, and what keeps you motivated to keep pushing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. You know, I had a couple of aha moments. The biggest aha moment was after I beat breast cancer and survived divorce. And, you know, I came through that journey, climbed those mountains of life and realized that I needed hormone-free contraceptive. That was food for the kind of cancer I had. And so I went online and I thought there's got to be something out there for me where I can, be safe, not have hormones. And I was shocked to see the level of STIs. And I thought, oh, wow, I've got two problems to solve now. And the only option was to rely on someone else to wear something that didn't particularly feel good. And I thought, this just doesn't make sense. I mean, some things are just too important to outsource. And it just was stuck in my mind. I mean, I was, selling software at the time and SaaS, globally, traveling a lot. And it was just in my mind, what can we do? How is there nothing out there? There must be more women like me that want something.
And it seems like a very traditional career trajectory to go from selling FASM systems to non-hormonal contraception. You must
exactly.
a lot of people.
Right. I mean, I do make the joke sometimes that, I went from software to software, right?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. But you're right. It was very different. I was looking online, obviously, to kind of get more information. It's a real mystery what this product is going to look like. I'm seeing a little teeny picture in the background, so I'm hoping you'll describe that. But what really got me and stuck in my head is what the LUWI stands for. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was getting my hair cut and I was thinking of all these names. And I said to the woman who cuts my hair, she's awesome. I've been with her for a long, long time. And I said, LUWI, let us wear it. And she said, LUWI, I like it, Lisa. And then it just stuck. That was the end of that. I got a haircut and a name.
So
That's great.
yeah, it's really been nice because it's not just, I mean, yes, we started this for women to have an option because we don't believe anyone should be forced into a role of any kind.
Yeah.
And that's what condoms do, right? Women are forced into this role of having to rely on another for their body's health and well-being. And let's face it, we've got a lot more at stake than they do.
Yeah,
So
for
it
sure.
doesn't make sense. I've learned over the years of doing this that we're not just solving this challenge for women, but for all receivers, right? All types of people at all
Yeah.
stages of their life, not just breast cancer survivors, not just divorced women, but all stages. You know, even menopause. We've learned that there's a tremendous need for this product in the menopausal market because it is a second skin. It's a finer liner. It's the opposite of a condom, and it forms this second skin that's protective.
Yeah.
And
What exactly is it made of, if you're free to share that? And is this mirroring the previously formed female condom in any way? Because there are all kinds of nuances with that.
yeah, absolutely. It is made of polyurethane, and that's very different. It's a different material from that other product. And we really created something that's very different from that in terms of the shape, not just the material and the way it transfers heat and the look and the feel of it, but the shape, the size of the retaining circle that keeps it against the vulva and keeps it in place, or the anal canal. And it really has a very neat brand. I think what we worked hard to understand, what are these consumers looking for? What do they really need? What's resonating with them? We did a proof of concept in London, and that helped educate us regarding what does this brand need to mean? You know, we have a really good idea of what it means to us and others, you know, my friends and family that have been on this journey with me since the beginning, but really understanding what our consumers are wanting. And that's what we've identified with this brand. So I would say there's a lot of different aspects of this product from the other. And number one, accessibility.
Yeah.
Our product is over the counter, and that product is not. And that product is sold primarily to sub-Saharan Africa for the mitigation of HIV. And that is a very good product.
Sure.
This is very different and has a different target market.
Okay.
So you have come up also with a somewhat unique business model. You say it's OTC, and you know, because the natural correlation, right or wrong, is male condoms, and they're primarily sold in mass market distribution channels, and you know, some direct to consumer. What is the vision you've created as to how you will get this in the hands of the people who want it, need it, and are trying to take care of all the things that you mentioned, whether it's prevention of pregnancy, elimination of a risk of a sexually transmitted disease, and finding a contraceptive option that is hormone-free?
Yeah, and add to that, protecting the vaginal biome, right? Making sure there's no mess, right? Those are two other needs that LUWI can solve for. You know, we looked at all of the markets, and what stood out so glaringly to us is the market that's hit the hardest. 18 to 24-year-olds. That's where the STI rates are really high. The next market is over 50. And we thought, okay, what's the best way to go about this? And we were talking with Justin Garcia of the Kinsey Institute, and he's just incredible. He has a lot of data, just not only from his organization, but also partners with Match.com. And the data proved that young people learn from wiser people about everything except sex and dating. It's the young people that inform and educate the older people. So it made sense to us to start with the younger folks and be able to help them understand what LUWI is all about and grow that adoption, and then move to the menopausal market, the next segment that's really heavy hit. So that was the information that we had that made us think, you know what, the 18 to 24-year-olds, it makes so much more sense. And where are they? Well, they're in college. A lot of them are in college. 19 million of them are in college. And 11 million of those 19 million happen to have vulvas. So what could we do to reach those folks? We started reaching out to colleges and universities. And surprisingly, they're all handing these out for free. They're buying in bulk. They're buying condoms in bulk to hand them out for free to their student bodies. And so we started asking, are you looking for something else? And it was overwhelmingly yes. They were looking for a health equity option, an option that could be non-binary, that could have multiple purposes and multiple uses, and it would be more comfortable. So that's proven to be pretty exciting because so far we have over 70 universities that have signed up to purchase LUWI as soon as we're cleared.
That's amazing. You know, to that point, the young population, often cost is their biggest issue for what they will choose. How is this positioned compared to the typical male condom, the typical female condom, which is kind of atypical in any event, but that's an expensive option?
Yeah, so that particular product is prescription only, right? We have been working with CVS to understand what our pricing model should be, and they helped us look at where the areas are that made the most sense. And so that is where we decided that we're selling a 6-pack for $14.99. So it's about $2.50 each, which if you look at the range of condoms on the market, because this isn't a condom, right? It is a liner, a finer liner, or a second skin.
But it is a single-use product for sexual activity. So the analogies make sense to a certain extent.
Yes, I agree with you. And so when you look at the condom market, right, the only thing there, you've got a whole range, and so we looked at those prices and with CVS's help determined that, okay, let's go right in the middle.
And here's today's hot flash. According to the CDC, nearly 50% of the more than 20 million new STI cases diagnosed each year in the US are among young people, those between the ages of 15 and 24. Have you considered targeting younger schools? I know the trends are that people aren't having sex anymore at young ages, but I would beg to differ based on my practice. Have you thought of targeting high schools or even middle schools?
It's a really good question. We actually we believe that the 5th through 12th grade schools, I live in Chicago, and I met with the head of the Chicago Public Health for the schools here, CPS. She's got 640 schools, 5th through 12th grade under her purview. And she's really excited about LUWI because they have a condom mandate. Many big cities do. And the condom mandate says you need to have a product, an option on campus for the students. Now, maybe it's not huge numbers. And that's, of course, where the education starts too, helping them be familiar with, hey, look at this. This is an option for you when you're ready, when the time is right, so that you can buckle your own seatbelt, if you will. So yes, I think that's going to be a big part of how we roll out too, because they have expressed a lot of interest.
So I have to just ask one last thing, because this is what will come from every one of my patients. Is it noisy? Because that has been a complaint in past about other products. Is it noisy? Does it feel like you're unwrapping M&Ms in a quiet movie theater?
Yeah, it's not noisy at all. And I would say that's one of the improvements we've made onto it. But I also would say, if that's the focus, then you probably shouldn't be having sex. Because, there's so much more going on. And that's what you want. You just want to be able to relax and be in the moment. And you just want to know that you're safe. And I think.
And when can you put it on? So obviously a male condom is on demand. You have to be ready to put on a condom. How does this work? At what point in the intimate process, whatever activities you're engaging in, would you put it on?
Yeah, it's a great question, Rachel. We have learned from our focus groups that actually men and women prefer this because there isn't that restriction with timing. A condom requires 2 hands to put on, and it requires a full erection to put on, right? That's not LUWI. There's no unrolling needed. You can use 1 hand to put it on. And in fact, we've joked, it's, the product for men without hands, right? Because you don't actually need that. It doesn't have to be unrolled. And I think because it's transferring heat and sensation, if there isn't a full erection, it's still good. You can still deploy it. and things can progress along. And I think that's another thing that we learned, this awkward moment sometimes in the hookup culture, where there's this worry that as soon as there's a condom deployed, the erection's going to go away, because they are desensitizing, they are constricting, and it does take away from that moment. And so we've eliminated all that with LUWI.
Where is the heat conduction coming from? Is it a topical applied agent? Is it something to do with the polyurethane?
No, it is chemical free. It is just the fact that the material is built to be able to transfer heat and sensation while also being a viral barrier, a complete barrier for the viral and semen. It's different from latex. Latex does not transfer heat and sensation. Plus latex is thicker.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Well, most of us gynecologists will just be very happy that there's no added fragrance or scent or flavor, because these are big no-nos.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're not using latex gloves in your practice any longer, I imagine.
Oh,
right?
no, we haven't used latex in quite some time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much in advance could someone, as you said, deploy LUWI prior to sexual activity?
Yeah, you can put LUWI in up to 8 hours before you need it. So it's there when you need it. It is a one-time use. So afterwards you would, twist it and pull it out, and then there's no mess. That was another thing that we learned through this process. A lot of women are, they don't want to have to change the sheets. They don't want to have to clean up the mess. So it's really nice for that. I think we've also learned a lot of yeast infections are, semen has a pH of about 7 and the vagina is about 3.5. So when you introduce some fluid that is a different pH, it's going to cause dysbiosis. It's going to cause upsetness in the vagina. I mean, you know this really well, Dr. Dweck. So I would say helping women, a lot of times people think, oh, I've got, a yeast infection. Well, often it's not a yeast infection. Right? It's bacterial vaginosis or it's an STI. And so being able to prevent all of those is what we want to be able to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think for my patients, one thing that always comes to mind is the vulva, because some STIs are skin to skin transmission and won't be covered by traditional condoms or this liner. And so counseling is still needed. Is your platform offering education as well?
Yes, that's a big part of this. I mean, people often ask what our marketing plan is. It's not really about the marketing. It's about the education. It's about helping answer questions. And, I know that porn is so accessible today, and it is promoting a kind of sex that is more objectifying to young women. And so we have to be that counterbalance to that, to help these young people know that that's not how it is. And so that's another aspect of this education that is more helping them to understand what's actually the way to be. You want to be, during intimacy, you want to be like you're at the playground, right? You want to share. You want to be kind to someone else. You want to be considerate of their thoughts and their feelings and their needs, right? That's what we want to be able to promote with LUWI too. And that's, I think, more educational than actually marketing.
Yeah, I'm going to make my plug for the perimenopausal population as well, because oftentimes women in that age category find themselves newly partnered with somebody else and have to worry about pregnancy until they're fully menopausal, and also have to potentially worry about STIs. So you have a very broad base for sure.
Yeah. I just read an interesting study today that divorce rates are the same or going down for young people, but they're going up in the over 50, which is a trend that we've been seeing for a while. And as you pointed out, Lisa, earlier on, that one of the most drastic increases we're seeing in STIs is this older, I can say it because I'm in it, older population that potentially hasn't been on the dating scene and has maybe had, a smaller number of partners or one for a very long time. So they're back in the dating pool and the world is different.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's long been thought that, over 50-year-old men, they would refuse to wear a condom, right? Just because of the desensitization aspect of it. And so we're seeing that with the young people too, right? We've got
Yeah.
61.7% CAEP, condom-associated erectile problems, which is preventing these young men are saying, 18 to 24, I can't maintain an erection with a condom, just like what we've seen for years with the over 50 men. And so we need to innovate. I mean, it is time, right? We need something that feels good to the other, but that also gives us the agency and the ability to protect ourselves. I mean, a lot of the, as you know, I mean, I think it's something like 80% of the STIs are asymptomatic.
Yeah, I don't know what the exact stat, but at least 50% of certain STIs are totally asymptomatic, and we pick them up just on a yearly checkup where we do routine screening. I'm curious because I know the testing for products such as these is really rigorous, particularly to gain FDA clearance or approval. How onerous was that for you?
We are going through it now, and it's, there's always a process, and it just takes time and patience. And we have spent about 24 months preparing for this. And of course, we did bring a similar product through when we did our proof of concept in London years ago. So we've learned a few things. Sometimes people say, are you a second-time founder? And because they say, I don't seem like a first-time founder. And I credit the experiences that we had with our proof of concept in London. We learned a tremendous amount. And although we didn't bring it through the US process, the regulatory process, there was a regulatory process that we were working through.
And so from the time you submit it to the FDA, if people are hearing this and saying, gotta have one, when could they think about seeing this available, whether it's in their college health system, in a CVS?
Yeah, we're hoping to be on the market and available for purchase by November. That's our goal. We've got a lot of things that we put in place to help us get to that date. But we'll see. We're hopeful.
So this doesn't apply to the three of us on the phone because these are the kinds of topics that we're talking about all day. What have your experiences been around funding? And
oh my gosh,
the conversations that you have with people, because I'm sure you get everybody's attention, but those people don't all write checks.
Actually, tomorrow I have gathered a group of folks that I know to see the screening in Chicago of Show Her the Money. Have you seen Show Her the Money? I haven't seen it yet, but it's supposed to be an incredible screening, and so I'm really looking forward to it. And we'll see if it kind of gives us some tips and tricks of how to raise money as a woman running a startup, especially in the sexual health space. Right? It's challenging, especially I think Chicago. Chicago, interestingly, was the first city to offer sex education in 1913. So you'd think like Chicago would be jumping on investing, but I don't know. We've seen the coasts. Maybe that's changing in Chicago these days too. But it has been a challenge. I think we started raising in January of 23. Probably not the best time to be running a startup for anybody, no matter who you are, what you're doing. But yeah, we've talked with a lot of angels, and it's nice because there are more women angels today, a lot more. It's really exciting in that regard. But everybody wants to see revenue. And it's hard. We're a startup. We're pre-revenue.
And you're not approved to be on the market yet. So
right.
it's difficult to demonstrate revenue.
Yeah.
You had said something, Alyssa had asked about the education, but I feel like I heard you mention in the past that one of the things you use for education when you're talking to people about this is the sparkle vulva.
Yes, I've been dying to hear or see what this is.
Yeah, the sparkle vulva. Yeah, this is our sparkle vulva. It has a LUWI in it, so you can see it protects the vulva here. And it is, we actually just made 4 of these. And I found this designer on Hatcher in Chicago, an Italian design firm, and they just do prototypes. And we saw all these vagina models online, and at like Sarah Parcham, she runs Chicago Public Schools, Public Health, and she was showing the options. And it's just ghastly. These things are so just repelling, and they're unattractive for a young woman, let alone we want the men to know this stuff too, right? It's everybody. And so that was really, and then my daughter, she and her friends, I don't know if this is okay to say, but she and her friends were, signing the garage wall, and it's a detached garage. And I walked out there one day and I saw, all their names and whatever, and a penis. Everybody knows how to draw a penis, right? And I said, oh my gosh, Caroline, come on. This is LUWI headquarters. You've got to have a vulva on that wall.
Well,
And
she'd be so very happy to know that there's actually like a vulva emoji keyboard. So
I need that keyboard. Anyway,
I bet that's selling like hotcakes.
yeah. Anyway, so now we have a vulva on the garage wall too, and it's really great. We've already sold over 700 of these, and we don't even have the final samples from our manufacturer yet.
700 of the Sparkle Vulva puppets.
Yeah, 700.
Okay.
Who knew? I didn't even know. But people have commented that it's a very nice tool. It's approachable. It's, it elicits interest and fun, and it's still anatomically correct. Right?
of course, plus, with a device such as this, I think demonstration goes a very long way. It's a lot easier to demonstrate on a model such as that one than just to verbally explain how to use it. So just because this is the first time I'm seeing it, does it come in the package completely elongated like that, or is it folded in any way?
No, it comes like this. Now this is probably something that's just going to be sold to the educators.
Yes.
I think, the public schools, the 5th through 12th grade public schools, and then the colleges and
You don't think,
universities.
Oprah, you get a Sparkle Vulva. You get a Sparkle Vulva.
Well, maybe. I don't know. It's a good training tool. We also have a lot of moms have come to me and asked me how to talk to their kids about sex. And so I thought, maybe there's another option for that. Like it's in like the kit, the first time kit. I don't know. How you have like the menstrual kits for the young girls? Maybe there's the first time sex kit for the young girls, right?
Yeah, well, look, these days, a lot of young women also want to have relations while they're on their periods. And I suppose this would make that a little bit neater as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Less mess for sure.
So if people are interested in staying on top of this and knowing when LUWI becomes available, where can they learn more about you and more about the product?
Oh, yeah, that's great. hello@getluwi.com. Getluwi.com is our website. And then also on Instagram, getluwi. And that's where actually we're going to do a crowdfunding campaign soon. We're running that shortly. That'll be really exciting. I think that'll enable anybody. One of the democratizing things about this crowdfunding is anybody can invest. And that's what we're really excited about.
At any amount.
Yes, at any amount. And so we think that that's going to be really a game changer too for us. So
Well, this is really exciting to
Yeah.
have another option, and your passion and enthusiasm is contagious. So thank you for turning your challenge into a business, and we'll be cheering you on.
Absolutely. Best of luck.
thanks, Alyssa. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Don't forget, subscribe to our podcast at businessofthev.com for the latest trends and trendsetters in women's health and business.